Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Thanks for coming back. I am here in episode 3 of 5 talking about staying ahead of the legal curve with your race for talent, because we know there is still a race for talent, no matter what some news channels tells us. We have here my co-host JC up in upstate New York. Hey JC.
Wendy, how are you?
I am fantastic. A little hot down here in Florida these days, but doing well.
I've got some amazing stats for you when you're ready this time. I'm not going to hit you right out of the gate, but this topic, I think, is going to raise the bar, take it to a higher level. It'll be interesting. I heard that from a lawyer once.
We are actually going to be asking our guest, Adam Kemper, who is managing partner of Workplace Law Firm, about a very hot topic in the workplace in the United States, which is marijuana classifications and employment policies. Welcome back, Adam.
Thanks again for having me.
Hey, let's just kind of jump right in. Actually, let me go ahead and JC has some stats he wants to share with us.
You want it now?
Yeah, go for it.
Here it comes. The classification of marijuana and its impact on employment policies is a huge topic, and that's a lot due to changing state laws. As of 2023, 23 states and the District of Columbia legalized recreational marijuana use, while 38 states have legalized medical marijuana. According to a report by the National Conference of State Legislators, these changes have prompted employers to reassess drug policies, particularly in terms of hiring and workplace safety. A 2021 survey by the American Management Association found that 67% of employers have updated their drug testing policies in response to marijuana legislation, balancing legal compliance with maintaining a safe and productive work environment and adding a brand new nuance to happy hour. Back to you.
Yeah. So Adam, talk to us about, our listeners are from across the country, across the globe, actually. Talk to us about the marijuana classifications, not just the state classifications, but the new thing that is supposedly still coming out about the federal classification change, and how the heck is this going to affect all of the employers?
So recreational marijuana at a federal level is still illegal, okay? But what has recently been proposed by the federal government, the Department of Justice, is the rescheduling of marijuana from a Schedule 1 substance to a Schedule 3. It's not been finalized. We're in the rulemaking phase, receiving comments, etc. But what a lot of people anticipate is that this is sort of the softening on the government's stance against marijuana. And this will present as an opportunity for the government to study it a little bit more and maybe eventually govern it in such a way where it can be passed on a recreational basis federally. Until then, I think to JC's wonderful stats that he shared earlier, we are seeing a trend towards states passing recreational use, adult use of marijuana throughout the country, and after we've seen a lot of medical also approval as well. So we've seen both, and what does that do for employers? Well, it presents them with a new issue to regulate, because we often find that regulation slowly follows innovation. Okay, we have the innovation, we have cannabis being, in there, and we certainly have people using it. And now, if people are using it on their own time, how does that impact the workplace? Well, companies still have to decide within the confines of their own state laws how they want to regulate it if they have a choice. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Many states give protection to medical marijuana cardholders. that give them the right to be free from discrimination on the basis of being a medical marijuana card holder. Florida doesn't have that right now. So companies can still enforce a drug-free workplace. They can terminate a marijuana user, whether it's for medical reasons or otherwise. And
Right. So
it's
important. It's important to know for our listeners that you have to understand what your state laws are. If you have employees in 7 different states, remote or in person, you need to follow 7 different set of laws plus the federal law. And so the marijuana law is the most confusing, I think, because almost every other law, the federal law is there and the states can go above and beyond the federal law, but they have to follow the federal law, where this one is an exception. The Fed said, marijuana states, you go handle it. We're not going to get involved, even though it's illegal federally. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, and to your point there, Wendy, and Mr. Adam, just for clarification as well, is it true, though, that regardless of what state you're in, if a portion of your workforce participates in federal contracts, that state law might just be out the window anyways?
Well, that presents a whole nother area. And I think actually the federal employers, the federal contractors will be the ones that are most impacted by this schedule change, because what the federal employers will have to do in Department of Transportation, they will have to look at how they're doing drug testing right now, and they're going to have to drill down on those safety sensitive positions and determine whether or not this is going to continue to be a banned substance in light of the rescheduling. So yes, that presents an additional layer of consideration. And Wendy, to your point, with multi-state employers, they need to abide by not only their home state's laws, but also wherever it is that they have employees. Right. So there may be conflicts on this very topic. Yeah. And all the more reason to consult with counsel when developing your drug and alcohol policies, and to just keep the open mind that new information and new legislation is coming into effect, like at a rapid pace, to the point where you may need to make adjustments on the fly. And I know that's a very difficult task for many companies to make changes mid-year. But that's what that's why they bring in us experts to help them.
Yeah, absolutely.
To help them understand.
It is a confusing topic. We're running out of time on this one here, but for folks that are interested, go to the Aurora Training Advantage website, because I personally just did a training on marijuana in the workplace on their website, so you can get the recording of it. I would definitely check that out. Follow Adam online. We'll give you his information later, and then also follow employment attorneys in your state or states that you work in. So with that said, thanks for listening to episode 3 of our 5-part series, Staying Ahead of the Legal Curve with Your Race for Talent. We'll be right back with episode 4.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.